The Edmonton Oil Kings continue to rule the Eastern Conference with an iron fist. Ben King becomes the first player in the league to eclipse the 40-goal mark. And the Spokane Chiefs hand the Seattle Thunderbirds their first loss of the month. All of that and more will be coming your way shortly. I'm WHL and you're dialed in to WHL Weekly.
Line left wing side, Gunther, he'll walk in, wrist shot, he scores! Now he's got the hat trick, Dylan Gunther. Hometown kid flying down that left wing. Who can stop that?
Bedard cuts to his right, shoots and scores! Connor Bedard breaks the deadlock 22 seconds into the second period.
Can you tell me one thing that the Spokane Chiefs and the Milwaukee Bucks have in common? Like, if you can't, it's okay, I just found this amusing. Both of these teams broke two mental winning streaks. The Bucks were the team that broke the Lakers' 33-game win streak in 1972, and the Warriors' 24-0 start to the season in 2016. That was 44 years apart though. The Chiefs just rolled the Winterhawks and snapped their 18-game point streak and broke Seattle's 8-game win streak on Friday with a third-period comeback. But they did this all in just under 2 weeks. Like, I'm coining these guys as the Heartbreakers for the rest of the year. You just love to see this. They actually carried this momentum into their Saturday game as well, dishing out a dominant 7-1 victory over Tri-City with a lot of praise to Bear Hughes. He was electric this week, providing 4 goals and 12 shots over those 2 games, further cementing himself as the breadwinner on this Chiefs squad that is still pushing for a playoff spot, I remind you, because if you look at the standings right now, those bottom 3 teams in the West are neck and neck. 35 points apiece and nearly identical records. If you want to look into some crucial games that will be happening across March and April, Spokane and Tri-City will face off 3 more times. And for the final 2 games of the season, Spokane will duke it out with Victoria. If all of these teams' records remain in a familiar territory, those final 2 games could literally be its own mini playoff series. Now that would be some exciting hockey to look forward to. As for the battle in the East, when discussing those final positions, the Swift Current Broncos made an outstanding statement after their doubleheader versus the Ice this week, with a regulation comeback win and then a point in a shootout loss. This team will take any points they can get during this final stretch, as they're currently tied with the struggling Hitmen and lie 2 points above the Hurricanes. And boy, while we're on the topic of Lethbridge, Justin Hall, have yourself a treat. Go get a Blizzard from Dairy Queen or something, because you earned it. He had a 5-goal, 6-point performance for his Medicine Hat this weekend, and it's crazy to think that this is actually his second 6-point affair this season. He did that to Medicine Hat as well back in November. In fact, in the 5 games Lethbridge has played versus the Tigers, Hall has 13 goals and 18 points. You know, I thought it was weird when I saw that Hall was the distinguished owner of the franchise, but it's starting to make sense now. Jokes aside, Hall has been putting on a clinic as an overager this year. That was his 4th hat-trick of the season. I'm honestly shocked he wasn't sold at the deadline for a first-round pick or a rookie, but hey, I'm not here to say what teams should have done. He's thriving in his final year, and he's looking like he's fighting for his team to snatch that 8th spot as Lethbridge makes their final push. None of the dominoes have fallen yet in the Eastern Conference, but they will soon be tumbling within the next week, because the Edmonton Oil Kings are still insurmountable. They're currently riding an 8-game win streak with a prolific 44 goals over that stretch. And the further I look into this team, I still think they can achieve more, especially given the fact that they are the most penalized team in the WHL. Even over this win streak, the Oil Kings have been shorthanded 42 times. That's around 5 times a game, or in better terms, a 1/6 of the whole game spent shorthanded. Like, even cut that in half, and there's another 5 to 6 minutes this team would most likely spend in the offensive zone and whip out even more devastation. If it weren't for this team's 3rd-ranked penalty kill, some of these games could have been a lot different. Their PK over the last 8 games is a strong 86%, and it's been a major contribution to this team's overall success over this win streak. The trickle down through the lineup is just psychotic as well. Overager Carter Souch has come out to play with 11 points over his last 4 games, and he's also proven to be crucial on the PK as well. Like, if only Liam Keeler was still on this team, those two were fantastic together. The Souch Keeler Lipin setup, so much grit, so much grind, but seriously, if guys like Souch carry on production like this, it's game over for teams like Winnipeg and Red Deer. Speaking of Red Deer, they're on a hot streak as well. I mean, they've been hot all year, but I've always felt they've been lingering outside of the spotlight behind Edmonton, Winnipeg, and Moose Jaw. They're currently on a 4-0 run, and their dead-eye sniper Ben King also just breached the 4-0 mark. 41 goals in 51 games for the Vernon native. Let's break it down. He's got 197 shots on goal, leaving him with a 21% shooting percentage. 19 of his 41 goals have come on the power play, another stat in which he leads the league. Think of it this way. Statistically, given all the opportunities this team has had on the power play, there is a 9% chance Ben King is scoring on that man advantage. 25 of his goals have been assisted by Arshdeep Bains, further demonstrating their incredible chemistry as they both sit second and third in league scoring. And since the start of the new year, King has recorded 19 goals in 17 games. If he remains specifically on this pace, he will finish the year off with 60 goals. Do I think he could do it? Why not? If he remains on fire much like the Rebels, I don't see why he couldn't. It would be the first 60-goal season since the 2017-18 season where Jaden Hobbegawax hit 70 and Ty Ronning snagged 61. Let's see it happen, Ben. Like, we all know you're more than capable. I'm just really hoping this season he's put up will garner the attention of some NHL clubs, whether it be with a late-round swinger in the 2022 draft, an AHL contract, or a PTO. Like, the kid delivers size, a wicked shot, and a reliable game across all three zones, and he's pretty adept on the draw too. Let's take some time to look at some of the other impressive youngsters making headwinds across the league. It's time for the Prospect Watch.
Down low, Savoy scores! Nice passing play by the Winnipeg Ice.
Looking for a man. Furka shot and it's stopped by Poulter.
Starting things off with a guy I mentioned a while back, Trevor Wong. He's been pouring on the offense recently, currently riding a 10-game point streak in which he has 15 points. And I'll chalk up a part of this production up to one thing for sure. He's actually shooting the puck. 36% of his shots on the season have come during this stretch. Trevor, shoot the puck more. It's working, okay? Another draft plus one, Gabe Clausen, is also on this list, a dignified goal scorer, and he's finally finding his scoring touch by the looks of it. 5 goals in his last 2 affairs, including a hat trick. Loved his gameplay in the shortened season last year, and it's nice to see that he's flaring up as the season comes to a close. Then we got the late 03 born goaltender Mason Beaupit. It hasn't been the easiest of years for the guy, but something tells me his impressive win over Seattle might jab some confidence not just into himself, but this whole team. I've always believed he'll get drafted off of his size alone, standing at 6'5", but to see him progress for teams like the Thunderbirds, that can only bring more positives to his game. And I said Trevor Wong has to shoot the puck more, but the same can be said for PG's Riley Height. 4 points and 2 goals over the weekend, but boy, does he ever have a smooth release. May not be the biggest fan of the tape job, but it's getting the job done. It's nice to start seeing him chip in more on the spreadsheet as the season continues on. Same can be said about Hudson Thornton on the blue line. You can pick out holes in any defenseman's game. Honestly, every D-man at this stage can hold their own zone a little bit better, but it shouldn't be the focus point on a guy like Thornton. When he's simply across the opponent's blue line, he is lethal. I just hope he starts falling onto NHL teams' radars sooner than later. And someone you're going to want to check out way down the line too is Thomas Mercic. Here's a kid with one hell of a bright future. I want to focus this story a little bit more on the side of the Medicine Hat Tigers though, because their season has been quite blight. They're currently riding a 10-game losing skid, and the team's morale simply just isn't in the right place. But the team was able to catch a glimpse into the future with Mercic scoring his first career WHL goal over the weekend. He was the 8th overall pick in this year's Bantam draft, and if you want to look at his track record in the CSSHL, he is beyond lethal. In fact, I actually just want to step aside here from the WHL and just admire the first line of the Delta Hockey Academy that they've put together here on their U17 squad. Between Mercic, Miguel Marquez, and Jordan Gavin, who went 8th, 6th, and 2nd in the WHL draft respectively, they own the CSSHL. It is theirs. No one else even comes close. Just look at these numbers for yourself. Wow. One of Delta's staff members must have majored in chemistry at UBC because this is unlike anything we've ever seen before. And when you look at what these kids are doing come game time, it's their playground. Michigans, tweeners, whatever you can think of, it's their world. Come next season, I wouldn't be shocked if each of these guys fill a big role in their respective franchises. The future is just blinding. In all respect, let's jump to the top players. First off, we have the one and only Carter Souch, 5 goals and 8 points over a 3-game stretch. His presence has been infectious across the Oil Kings lineup. And you know what would have been cool if he just scored all 5 of those goals in one game like Justin Hall did? First guy to hit the plateau this year. Talk about potency. And then we'll cap it off with Samuel Huot on the Americans. Their offense is starting to pick up with a lot of praise thrown his way. 6 points across 2 contests this week. As for the teams, your Edmonton Oil Kings sit pretty on this list once again, especially after mounting the ice in considerable fashion last week, and the Spokane Chiefs will crack the list for the first time in the series for their streak-breaking ways, leaving us with the Rebels and the Broncos. Well, that went smooth. Like, it's not like anything absolutely manic went on. I mean, Spokane beating Wait. I just got something when I was writing the script. I don't care if this is Tuesday. No way. This is going in. He's signed. Taylor Gauthier has signed a professional contract. It's finally happened. I've been waiting for this for years. Yes! Pittsburgh, you've done it. You've done it. Let's go. Yes.